but I wanted to just share briefly. Again, I will elaborate on these um, at other times, and I plan to send emails throughout the summer. But I came up with four core values that I want this team to be about, and I want you girls to buy into. But first, you have to know what they are, of course. And then throughout the summer, I'll unpack them even deeper. But the first core value that I wanted to speak about was I put we safeguard relationships. And for me, that's going to get into details such as the team comes before the individual. It's going to get into the fact that we have to communicate. I have to communicate with you, you have to communicate with me, but even more or the same importance, you girls have to communicate with each other. If there's something between you two, it's between two players on this team, it's a team issue at that point. And you girls need to communicate through it. So things like that are going to fall under that core value of we safeguard our relationships. And then the second I have is we fix our eyes on the process. And that's going to get into this combination of things I said, where we will go after relentless improvement, but we will also have an unwavering contentment. And again, I can also, if you see this, I should stop and tell you, I have some bad poison ivy, so it's covered up. That's what that is. Yeah, so relentless improvement and unwavering contentment, that has to do with we're going to work really hard in practice. We're going to train really hard. You girls are going to try to improve as soccer players, but also unwavering contentment comes in with we're grateful for what we do have and where we are at, because personal experience, it can be unhealthy to constantly if you don't have one with the other, it can become an unhealthy relationship with soccer of I'm just trying to get better, and that becomes an idol. But we're going to also focus on being grateful for where we are, being grateful on little victories along in the process. So yeah, I won't get too, I could go on and on. I'll leave that there for now, and I'll elaborate on that one another time. The third one is, so we safeguard relationships so far. Then we fix our eyes on the process. The third one is we embrace servant leadership. And I know girls who have been a part of Houghton Soccer, I got to hear when I came there to visit that you already have a focus on this, so I'm excited to continue that focus. But basically this one comes from the example of Christ washing his disciples' feet. And we want to embody that, everything that we thought Christ would be, or a Christ would be like. Jesus came and he was counter that, and he flipped it upside down. So same thing on this team. I want everything we expect leaders to be flipped upside down on this team in a good way, where our leaders will actually be serving the people that they're leading. So that's the third one, is we embrace servant leadership. The fourth one is we choose to be positive. And a lot can come out of this as well, but a huge one in here for me is ownership, that Houghton women's soccer is each of you. So you have a responsibility on your shoulders that wherever you go, if you're training in the summer and you see people and they know you're part of Houghton women's soccer, that's you, the team, like who the team is partially on your shoulders. And I want to create an atmosphere where you girls take that really seriously, and that you're taking that seriously wherever you are, and that on campus, the Houghton women's soccer team is seen as people who are going to jump in and help, people who are going to build connections, people who other students just want to be around. So some of that's going to have to do with taking ownership of the fact that this team is going to be what you make it and what you take responsibility for. So yeah, those are the four. I'll say them one more time. We safeguard relationships. We fix our eyes on the process. We embrace servant leadership, and we choose to be positive. And then, so I also put those in the packet I sent you. Hopefully you guys looked through that. I know it's a lot to swallow at first, so take your time, look through it. It should be easy to follow, and you're always welcome to ask me questions if it got confusing at all. But at the first page of that, I actually placed these core values along with the team verse that I just shared and some other things that you can look through as well. Yeah, so which brings me to the summer expectations. At first, I wanted to open it up on this portion. If you have any questions after looking through that email I sent or the summer packet that I sent, I just want to give you space to ask those, which I know is hard in this setting. Someone unmuted, maybe? Anybody got any questions?
I have one.
Yeah.
So, with me being in Canada, I really don't have a phone, and I don't have, I'm not promised like Wi-Fi either. So that's the only way I can really communicate. So, is it all right if in that area, like when I am in Canada, so I leave in like 2 weeks, if I really just follow the packet and everything, I'm not going to be able to reach out to anybody, is what I'm saying. Will that be okay?
I mean, it's understandable. I know. So that's another thing I wanted to say is I know that this might be different. And again, I'm not going to know everything of how it was. And I think that's even a healthy thing and a good thing that I don't know exactly how it is.
Mhm.
But I will say, yes, there's going to be unique circumstances. And I've heard a lot of those. Some people are overseas, some people are, well, I guess in another country, in Canada. But I would say do what you can.
Mhm.
Make connections where you can. I just think it is important, but if you got limitations like that, there's not much you can do. But maybe you could still send some snail mail.
That I can do. I'll have to jump in the lake if I receive any, though.
What?
I said I'll have to jump in the lake if I receive any.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Everybody hear that if you want her to send her some.
No, it's nasty.
Great.
But thank you.
What you can, I would say, by way of communicating with teammates.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyone else have any questions? I don't see anyone unmuting, so I'll move on if not. Okay. So something I guess I'll just point out a few things then, and this brings into the next part that I wanted to talk about anyway, but a little bit about preseason and what I'm expecting, and something that I am expecting, and it's more so because it's what's best for the team. In my mind, if you all are able to do this packet to be fit when you come here, that's going to be a huge advantage for us during preseason, because if you are able to run, you are in shape, then we can spend the majority of our time on technical things, on system of play, on things that are going to help us with soccer specific play. If you don't come in fit, it is what it is, and I will need to spend time on that. But for the benefit of the entire team, I would strongly encourage you push through, getting some runs and getting all these things in. And I've made a plan. I think it's reasonable. I know there's some of you that have special circumstances where you don't have access to a lot of things, but like I can't stress it enough. Soccer is so much running, and running is honestly so much mental toughness and pushing past barriers. And if all of you can learn that this summer, or have already learned that, how to push past what your body thinks that it can do, then when we come to preseason, we're going to be set up really well for training sessions, and getting to use those to work on soccer specific things. You've already developed some of that mental toughness that you'll need throughout the season. And then furthermore, with preseason, an expectation I'll have during preseason is that you will be present. I know when I was in college, I loved preseason because it was like a few days before you have classes, and basically you get to spend time with your teammates, concentrated time that once classes start, you don't have as much of. So as your coach, my expectation is going to be that when preseason starts, you are present with the team. That being said, if you have plans already, please bring those to my attention before we get there. But if you don't have plans, then during that preseason time isn't a good time to start making plans now, because we're going to be training. We're going to be training 2 times a day, as long as I get that word that we got the field 2 times a day. But I'll also be looking to plan team events and have you girls plan some team events and really just get to spend time with one another, get to know each other even better. So yeah, being present, being fit, those are 2 things that are really important to me as I think about preseason. And then it's a big question everyone wonders, what are the fitness tests going to be? And I put that in the packet, but I'm going to be looking at a shuttle run fitness test which I laid out in the packet. Let me know, do you want me to go through that, or you feel like you understand it from reading it? If anyone speaks up, I'll go through it. Anyone? All right. Yes, so you feel like you understand. If you have questions, you let me know. That's going to be one of the tests when we show up for preseason, and it's laid out there. If you do the things that I've put there on Wednesdays, you'll work up to what the fitness test is. So that's the beauty of the packet, is you can see an immediate practical reason to be doing it, because you know what's coming as far as the tests, and you see that Wednesday laid out throughout the summer where it works up to that for you. And then another thing I would look at is a 40-yard dash, just to see sheer speed. And then I would also look at a figure 8 with a soccer ball. That's also one of my technical things I wrote up for you girls. But that one it just shows your ability with the ball to keep it tight to cones, and it does a time. So those are 3 things that I'm looking at testing on when we show up for preseason. And yeah, I think as far as what I had for you girls, that's what I wanted to speak with you about today. I also just wanted to say, and Reagan, don't take this, I was going to say this anyway, but a big encouragement for you girls this summer is to stay connected. I know it's hard. You're probably all different places. If you do have some people who you know are close by, hey, maybe there's a freshman who you just heard lives close by to you because they just introduced themselves. If you could make connections and get together, maybe run some runs together or get some coffee together, all of those things will just help us get to know each other before we show up for preseason. So I definitely encourage all of that as well. And there's one thing before I open it up for questions. As far as training sessions in general, I want you girls to be on board with this, but when we're training, I'm gonna, as your coach, be committed to everything that I plan to do at practice with you girls is going to have a purpose. It's going to be applicable to the way we're going to play. It's going to be it's going to show up in games. I'm not going to just add drills just because we got to fill time. I'm going to keep it sharp, keep it to the point, keep it with purpose. So that will be my side of the agreement. Your side of the agreement I'll need you to keep is that when you're at practice, you're 100% there. You're training hard, and maybe that'll take time of what does training hard look like? What does every rep at your best effort look like? And that's what I want to create to be the culture of this team. And it might be already, and that's great. Then we're going to keep it going. But that's going to be a huge expectation from my side, because soccer-wise, if it's one thing to do the drills, but if you're not doing them at max effort, if you're not pushing yourself past what you're comfortable with, it's the same with life. You got to push past the comfort zone in order to grow. Same with soccer. If you're not pushing past the level or the speed you're comfortable with, then practice, it might seem fine, but then you're going to get to the game, the speed's going to be faster, and we're going to wish we had worked harder in training. So we're going to do that on the front end right off the bat. Yeah, so that's good for my side today. Like I said, I could talk about this stuff for a long, long time, but we'll have plenty of time together. I'll open it up for any questions you might have or thoughts you might have. Anybody? I'm looking for unmuted mics. Someone unmuted.
You guys are so quiet, and you're not like this.
It's a video chat. It's different than real.
Hey, just so you know too, I don't know what's been communicated to you about preseason dates, but I'm going to be sending something out within the next couple weeks, just sort of a list of dates that you'll be returning, kind of a reminder of all the paperwork that you're supposed to do. You guys who are returners, you're familiar with that, going online and just all this compliance, NCAA forms and all the medical stuff. For D, those of you that are new, it'll just be something that you need to be on top of to make sure that you get done. One of the things I say to all the coaches, and I'll say this to Coach Elsasser, she'll hear it now, being on top of that and making sure you're ready. The last thing we want is the very first day of preseason to have 2, 3, 4, 5 people not able to practice because you didn't take care of over the summer what you needed to take care of to be eligible. That's just the worst thing. Then you're just behind right from the get-go. So, but I'll get that information out. And just to tell you, preseason will start on, you guys will all be able to return to campus on the 18th of August. That's a Sunday. Sort of typical routine, move into your, I think in the afternoon, you'll be able to come in, move into your dorms or townhouses, wherever you are. And then first day, we'll have a department meeting that night. You'll get your practice gear or whatever it is that we have, and take care of the last minute forms and paperwork and insurance cards and those kinds of things. And then first day of practice will be Monday the 19th. I don't know the times of that, but it'll be a morning practice and typically an afternoon practice, and then evenings will be your team time is typically how we do it. But yeah, I'll get that stuff out to you here within the next couple of weeks. You'll get those dates so that you can make sure you're planning accordingly.
All right. So yeah, I'll just close in saying I'm extremely excited for this next season, and I'm extremely excited to get to know you. It's kind of a tease that we are anticipating next season, but now it's like a few months until we actually get to show up for preseason. I don't know about you girls, but that's gonna be hard. I'm ready to meet you all and to get started. So yeah, I'm just really excited. Like, do work now for this next season, because when it comes to the season and you say, oh, I wish this was different, I might look at you from across, if you're in my office or something, I might look at you across from the desk and say, well, what did you do in the summer to make this different now? Because you have these days to make a difference for next season, and that can be relationally, that can be technically, that can be in fitness, but all those little things now are going to add up and be a help when we get together in preseason. And that goes with what Coach Webb said, with the little details. If that means getting your forms in, that's really, really important, because if 2 of you don't get your forms in and you can't practice, first of all, I'm not going to be a happy coach, and that just hurt the team. So make sure, that's just one example, but make sure you're taking care of little details like that are going to, they might seem like they don't make that much of a difference, but if you add them all up, it's a huge difference. Yeah, so thanks for showing up today. Is there anything else?
I was just going to say, those of you that are here right now, how many of you are working soccer camp this summer?
Yeah. Okay, I gotta keep your hands up so I can swipe through the screen.
Alexa, that's like, are you working camp or not working camp?
So that's when do you need to know, like the very last point you need to know by?
Yeah, probably pretty soon, because it's the list is, we've got a decent number of folks working camp. Are you writing these down, Coach? Hands up?
Yeah, I can. They also, some of them told me via email. Maybe
so you already know a little bit. Okay.
Greg's working camp.
Greg's working camp. Yeah, Sarah. I know, I just saw the list. I was looking at it earlier today, and so I recognize that some of your names are on there. I just know camp's always a real good time to just especially for the new players. I see Sarah, Mary, are working. It's a good opportunity just to begin interacting and getting to know folks. So that's good. I see 5 or 6 of you anyway. And I know there's a few others that aren't on that are working camp, but
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. You could put your hand down. He's still- Yeah, that would be a great time to get to meet some of you girls and you get to spend time together. Something I'll definitely encourage in the coming years as well, that many of you can work camp as possible. That's great. And you can work out together. Wake up early, work out together.
Exactly. Well, very good. I don't want to cut it off if there's any more, but Coach, you're going to be in Uganda is that right? Uganda?
That's correct. Yeah. So
For a
I'll
few
be
weeks?
for a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
Well, have a good trip, and maybe we can touch base, you and I, real quick before you go, just regarding a couple emails we had. But thanks everyone for joining in, and we'll see you in the fall or camp, if not at camp. So very good. Thank you.
thanks for coming. See ya.